Have you ever felt like your energy is fading faster than it used to? Or that your body isn't as strong as it once was? If so, you're not alone. I hear from so many people in their 60s and beyond who say they feel stuck in a rut, like aging has taken the reins of their life. But here's the good news. Science shows us that we have more control over how we age than we think. For example, did you know that something as simple as walking just 30 minutes a day can lower your risk of heart disease by up to 20%, according to Harvard research? That's huge. And today we're going to dive into 8 practical things you can avoid after turning 60 to help you live longer, healthier, and happier. Before we get started, though, I want to make one thing crystal clear. This video is for informational purposes only and is based on publicly available research. Everyone's health is different, so always consult your doctor or a qualified healthcare provider before making any changes to your lifestyle, diet, or exercise routine. Scientific knowledge is always evolving, and what works for one person may not work for another. Got it? Great! Now let's jump in. Let's start with the first habit that might be sabotaging your health without you even realizing it: sitting too much. Think about it. When was the last time you got up from your chair and moved around? Maybe you've been glued to the TV or scrolling through your phone for hours. It happens to all of us, but sitting for long periods can wreak havoc on your body. Studies suggest that prolonged sitting increases the risk of heart disease, diabetes, and even certain types of cancer. In fact, researchers from the Mayo Clinic found that adults who sit for more than 6 hours a day are at a significantly higher risk of premature death compared to those who sit less. Scary, right? But here's the silver lining. Breaking up those long stretches of sitting with even small movements, a quick walk around the house, standing while talking on the phone, or doing some light stretches, can make a big difference. One woman I know, Mary, was skeptical at first. She loved her afternoon TV shows, but decided to set a timer to remind herself to stand up every 30 minutes. Within weeks, she noticed she had more energy and felt less stiff. Small changes, big impact. Now let's talk about something else that might surprise you: skipping meals. I know. You've heard that eating less could be a good thing, especially if you're trying to maintain a healthy weight. But skipping meals, especially breakfast, can actually backfire. When you skip a meal, your blood sugar levels drop, leaving you feeling sluggish and irritable. Over time, this can lead to overeating later in the day or making poor food choices because you're starving. A study from the American Heart Association found that people who eat regular, balanced meals tend to have better heart health and a lower risk of obesity. Plus, starting your day with a nutritious breakfast, like whole grain toast with avocado or oatmeal topped with berries, sets the tone for healthier eating throughout the day. My friend Bob used to skip breakfast all the time, saying he didn't have time or wasn't hungry. Once he started having a bowl of overnight oats every morning, he told me he couldn't believe how much better he felt. He even lost a few pounds without trying. But there's another sneaky habit that might be holding you back: neglecting hydration. As we age, our sense of thirst diminishes, which means we might not realize we're dehydrated until it's too late. Dehydration can cause fatigue, dizziness, and even confusion, mimicking symptoms of other health issues. Drinking enough water is crucial for everything from keeping your joints lubricated to supporting brain function. The National Academies of Sciences recommends that women aim for about 9 cups of fluids a day and men for about 13 cups. And no, coffee and tea don't count against that total. They're hydrating too. One tip I love is keeping a reusable water bottle nearby. Seeing it reminds you to take a sip, and before you know it, you've met your daily goal. Trust me, your body will thank you. Now that we've covered these essential habits, avoiding too much sitting, skipping meals, and neglecting hydration, let's move on to something just as important: how small daily changes can add years to your life. Because staying active and nourished is only part of the equation. What about stress? What about sleep? These factors play a huge role in how well we age, and we're going to unpack them next. Stick around, you won't want to miss it. Let's talk about something we all deal with, but don't always take seriously: stress. You've probably heard the phrase, "Don't sweat the small stuff." But when it comes to aging, stress is more than just an emotional burden. Chronic stress can actually speed up the aging process. Think about it. When you're stressed, your body releases cortisol, often called the stress hormone. In small doses, cortisol isn't harmful. It's what helps us react quickly in emergencies. But when cortisol levels stay high for too long, it can lead to inflammation, weaken your immune system, and even affect your memory. A study from the University of California, San Francisco, found that people with higher stress levels had shorter telomeres, which are protective caps on the ends of our DNA strands. Shorter telomeres are linked to faster aging and a higher risk of chronic diseases. So managing stress isn't just about feeling better in the moment. It's about protecting your long-term health. Now you might be thinking, easier said than done. How am I supposed to avoid stress? Well, here's the thing. It's not about avoiding stress altogether. That's impossible, but finding ways to manage it effectively. One powerful tool is mindfulness. Mindfulness doesn't mean sitting cross-legged and chanting, unless that's your thing. It's simply about being present in the moment without judgment. For example, taking 5 minutes to focus on your breathing, or going for a mindful walk where you pay attention to the sights, sounds, and smells around you can work wonders. My neighbor Ellen started practicing mindfulness after she retired. She told me that before, she'd get so worked up over little things like traffic or misplaced keys. Now, she uses those moments as opportunities to pause and breathe. She says it's made her calmer and more patient, not just with others but with herself too. Another habit that goes hand in hand with stress management is getting enough sleep. If you've ever had a restless night, you know how groggy and irritable it can make you feel the next day. But poor sleep doesn't just affect your mood. It can also impact your memory, immune system, and even your heart health. Research from the National Sleep Foundation shows that adults over 60 often experience changes in their sleep patterns, like waking up earlier or having trouble falling asleep. While some of this is normal, consistently poor sleep can take a toll. One common mistake is using screens, like phones, tablets, or TVs, right before bed. The blue light emitted by these devices tricks your brain into thinking it's daytime, making it harder to fall asleep. Instead, try creating a calming bedtime routine. Maybe it's reading a book, listening to soothing music, or doing some gentle stretches. A friend of mine, Ron, used to scroll through his phone until late at night. Once he switched to reading instead, he noticed he fell asleep faster and woke up feeling more refreshed. Small change, big payoff. But here's another thing to watch out for: relying too heavily on medications or supplements without understanding their effects. Many people in their 60s and beyond take multiple medications to manage various health conditions. While these can be life-saving, they can also interact in unexpected ways if not monitored carefully. Polypharmacy, the use of multiple medications, can increase the risk of side effects like dizziness, confusion, or even falls. Always keep an open line of communication with your doctor about what you're taking, why you're taking it, and whether there are alternatives. And when it comes to supplements, remember that just because something is natural doesn't mean it's safe. For instance, high doses of certain vitamins like vitamin D or calcium can be harmful if taken incorrectly. My Aunt Margaret learned this the hard way when she started taking a supplement she saw advertised online without consulting her doctor. It ended up interfering with her prescription medication. Once she talked to her healthcare provider and adjusted her regimen, she felt much better. The lesson? Always do your homework and involve your doctor in decisions about medications and supplements. Now that we've covered movement, nutrition, hydration, stress, sleep, and medications, let's shift gears slightly and talk about something equally important: nutrition and how it impacts long-term well-being. What you eat fuels your body and mind, and making smart dietary choices can help prevent chronic diseases, boost your energy, and even improve your mood. Have you ever wondered why some cultures seem to age so gracefully? Let's explore that next and uncover the secrets behind eating for longevity. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss these game-changing tips. Let's dive into one of the most powerful tools for aging well: nutrition. You've probably heard the saying, "You are what you eat." And when it comes to longevity, that couldn't be more true. What we put on our plates doesn't just affect our waistlines. It shapes how our bodies function at a cellular level. For example, studies from the National Institute on Aging suggest that people who follow a Mediterranean-style diet, rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, and healthy fats like olive oil, may lower their risk of dementia by up to 30%. That's a staggering statistic, and it makes sense when you think about it. These foods are packed with antioxidants, omega-3 fatty acids, and other nutrients that protect your brain and heart. But here's the catch. It's not just about adding good foods to your diet. It's also about avoiding the ones that can harm you. Processed foods, sugary snacks, and refined carbs might taste delicious, but they come with a hidden cost. These foods can spike your blood sugar, increase inflammation, and even contribute to chronic diseases like diabetes and heart disease. A study published in The Lancet found that diets high in ultra-processed foods were linked to a higher risk of early death. Yikes! Now, I'm not saying you have to give up your favorite treats entirely. Life is too short for that, but moderation is key. One trick I love is the 80-20 rule. Aim to eat nutrient-dense foods 80% of the time, and allow yourself some flexibility the other 20%. My friend Carol used to snack on chips and cookies every night while watching TV. Once she swapped those for air-popped popcorn or a handful of almonds, she noticed she had more energy during the day and even lost a few pounds. Small swaps, big results. Another dietary habit to avoid after turning 60? Skipping protein. As we age, our bodies need more protein to maintain muscle mass and strength. Yet many people unintentionally skimp on it, especially if they're cutting back on meat or eating smaller portions overall. Protein isn't just about building muscles, it also supports your immune system, helps repair tissues, and keeps you feeling full longer. Good sources include lean meats, fish, eggs, beans, lentils, and tofu. If you're not a fan of cooking elaborate meals, try adding a scoop of protein powder to your smoothie or sprinkling nuts and seeds onto your salad. It's an easy way to boost your intake without much effort. One man I know, Paul, didn't start paying attention to his protein intake until he was 72. Within months of making this simple change, he noticed he had more energy and less joint pain. He told me, "I feel 10 years younger." Isn't that inspiring? Now let's talk about something that's often overlooked but incredibly important: staying socially engaged. Many people assume that as they get older, it's natural to slow down and spend more time alone. But research suggests that staying connected with others can have a profound impact on both mental and physical health. A study from Brigham Young University found that social isolation and loneliness are as harmful to your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. That's shocking, right? On the flip side, having strong social ties can reduce your risk of depression, cognitive decline, and even premature death. So how do you stay socially active? It doesn't have to mean going to big parties or events if that's not your style. Joining a book club, volunteering, or simply scheduling regular phone calls with friends and family can make a world of difference. My cousin Diane joined a local gardening group a few years ago, and she says it's been a game changer. Not only has she made new friends, but she's also discovered a passion for growing her own vegetables. She jokes that she's never felt healthier or busier. Of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't address one of the biggest challenges people face as they age: staying motivated. Let's be honest, it's not always easy to stick to healthy habits when you're dealing with pain, fatigue, or just plain old resistance to change. But here's the thing, motivation doesn't have to come from some grand epiphany. Sometimes it's about finding small wins and celebrating them. For instance, maybe your goal is to walk around the block every day. If you manage to do it 3 times a week, that's still progress. A Johns Hopkins University study found that adding just 10 extra minutes of movement per day could contribute to a longer lifespan. 10 minutes. That's totally doable, right? Another tip is to focus on how these habits make you feel rather than how they make you look. When you eat nourishing foods, move your body, and connect with loved ones, you'll likely notice improvements in your mood, energy levels, and overall quality of life. Those intrinsic rewards can be far more motivating than any number on a scale. Now that we've covered all these essential tips, from nutrition and social engagement to overcoming common challenges, let's wrap things up with some final words of motivation and a simple challenge you can start today. Because aging doesn't mean losing your health. It means taking charge of it in smarter, more intentional ways. Ready to hear my top takeaway? Let's get to it. We've covered a lot of ground today, haven't we? From avoiding too much sitting and skipping meals to managing stress, prioritizing sleep, eating nutrient-dense foods, staying socially engaged, and finding ways to stay motivated. It's clear that aging doesn't mean giving up on your health. It means taking charge of it in smarter, more intentional ways. The truth is, small daily habits can make a world of difference. You don't need to overhaul your entire life overnight. Instead, focus on 1 or 2 changes at a time, and let those build into a healthier, happier you. Let me leave you with this thought: aging is inevitable, but how we age is not. Experts like Dr. Michael Greger, author of How Not to Die, suggest that diet and lifestyle choices may significantly reduce the risk of chronic diseases and help us live longer, fuller lives. And it's not just about adding years to your life, it's about adding life to your years. Think about it. Wouldn't you rather spend your later years feeling vibrant, active, and connected instead of sluggish, isolated, or weighed down by preventable health issues? I know I would. Now here's my challenge to you. Pick one thing from this video, just one, and commit to trying it for the next week. Maybe it's setting a timer to remind yourself to stand up every 30 minutes, or swapping out processed snacks for something healthier, or calling a friend you haven't spoken to in a while. Whatever it is, take that first step. Trust me, once you start seeing and feeling the benefits, it'll be easier to keep going. And who knows, that one small change might inspire you to tackle even more. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know in the comments which habit you're going to try first. Are you going to focus on hydration, stress management, nutrition? Share your thoughts, because your journey might inspire someone else watching this video. And if you found this information helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more tips on healthy aging. Together, we can create a community of people supporting each other as we navigate this incredible stage of life. Before we wrap up, I want to remind you of something important. You are capable of amazing things, no matter your age. I've met so many people in their 60s, 70s, and beyond who are living proof that it's never too late to make positive changes. Take Paul, the man I mentioned earlier, who didn't start strength training until he was 72. Or Ellen, who discovered mindfulness after retirement. Or Diane, who found joy and purpose through gardening. These are real people, just like you, who decided to take control of their health and happiness. If they can do it, so can you. So here's to living your best life at any age. Whether you're 60, 70, 80, or beyond, there's always room to grow, learn, and thrive. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I truly hope you feel empowered and inspired to take these steps toward a longer, healthier life. Remember, aging isn't the end of the road. It's a new chapter filled with opportunities to care for yourself and enjoy the life you've built. Here's to you, and here's to your health. Until next time, take care, and keep shining.